Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Lukas Guntermann. Research is increasingly showing that BIM and circular construction go hand in hand. So in my presentation, we will focus on information requirement for circular planning, IFC based, which we implemented using IDS. I did this research with Philipp Hagedorn and Markus König at our chair of Computing and Engineering at the Ruhr University of Bochum in Germany. To give you a short introduction and looking at the environmental impact of the construction industry, it is responsible for 37% of the global CO2 emissions and around about 60% of the global resource consumption. And as you might know, the waste hierarchy by the European Union, it clearly says the highest goal is prevention of waste, and after it, there comes the reuse of building components. And that's exactly what I'm focusing on in my research. We have a research project, so I give you a quick overlook about it. In the research project CLUE, which stands for Circular Building Design, at the first step, we focus on the information requirements by different LCA software and open BIM approaches. As the second step, we focus on sustainable planning variants and the design for circularity. And as the third step, we like to develop the CLUE tool for sustainable planning suggestions to increase circularity. And in it, we want to include expert knowledge. But today, we are focusing on the first step in this paper, so the information requirements. And when looking at it, on the one side, we often have an IFC model, a BIM model, and on the other side, we have the LCA software for lifecycle assessment. And as you see, there are information requirements the IFC model has to fulfill that the LCA software can operate. And these information requirements should be in an open standard and should be machine readable as we like it. And yeah, when thinking about it, information requirements, there's a pretty obvious solution for that. The IDS standard by buildingSMART. And it contains of two components, the applicabilities. So they show where to apply the rules, and the requirements are that kind of rules which say which information is needed. For example, for that steel construction, we need circularity information about the pre-use, about connections, about separability of materials, etc. And to show you more about the methodology and framework, this IDS for this Information Delivery Specification can be used for requirement checking in the planning and the modeling phase. It can be used when the IFC model is transferred to another stakeholder, who does the LCA. And it also can be used in the LCA software directly to check if the model fulfills all requirements about circularity information. So when we implemented the IDS, we collected different approaches from various software manufacturers and two open BIM approaches. So as you see, we used the Medesta LCA software, who developed their own PSets, which are documented in a PDF file. We also implemented the properties of Concular. It's an LCFA software more known in the German market, I think. They documented the properties on the website. And there are two OpenBIM approaches documented in the buildingSMART data dictionary, bSDD. It's the DOR bSDD by Akbari and the circularity bSDD by Alquasas. And as you can see in the table, they contain pretty similar information. For example, all approaches contain information about the connections. So we mapped them and then we implemented them into the IDS. In the implementation, we used a web interface by LastBIM, and this IDS, Information Delivery Specification, contains the property name, the property set where that property comes from. It contains the data type. Here it is the IFC text. And it contains values that are allowed. And all these information are transferred into the machine-readable IDS format in XML. In the implementation, we found a couple of issues with the current IDS format. So there's no inheritance for the IFC classes. And it's not possible that there are applicabilities for abstract IFC classes. For example, to IFC element or IFC product to cover all possible IFC entities. And it's also not possible that requirements apply for more than one entity. So we bypassed these issues by implementing a Python script modifying the initial IDS, and we validated the whole IDS using Blender and the plugin Bonsai. As you can see here, we validated it in 2 IFC models, and the information requirements we filled in with values. They passed the checks, so yeah, the validation was successful. To come to a conclusion, we did a harmonization of information requirements by an open approach, the Information Delivery Specification. There were a couple of issues, but we bypassed them with a Python script. And yeah, a suggestion for software manufacturers would be that hopefully it will be an agreement on a specific terminology that we don't have that various approaches in the future. In the validation, the 2 models we used did not contain every possible IFC entity, so a complete test would be needed. And yeah, to give you an outlook, when we developed our information requirements in the Clue project, we will implement them in an IDS, and yeah, we will continue with the next steps. So the planning variants, the sustainable planning variants, and yeah, as the final step, the implementation of the Clue tool. Yeah, these are the references, and yeah, thank you for your attention.